ABC 10 News at 5 starts right now.
ABC 10 News starts now with breaking news.
A gruesome mystery is unfolding on Fiesta Island, where possible human remains were found in a fire pit. Good evening, I'm Lindsay Pena.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. Homicide detectives have been on scene all day. And new at 5, our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo just talked to the man who says he made that discovery. Laura.
Yeah, and that man says that he was coming to the beach. He wanted to spend the day here on Fiesta Island, and that he decided to stop near that fire pit because he wanted to make some hot dogs when he made that discovery. Now, I want to take you to some video from Sky 10 from earlier this afternoon when this all happened. The man says after making the discovery, he flagged down the lifeguard, who then called police. When officers arrived, they blocked off the area with caution tape. Pictures of the remains were sent to a forensic anthropologist who believes they are possibly human remains. The homicide unit is on scene still investigating, working with the arson team to find out what exactly happened. Now, the man who says that he saw the bones and he initially thought it was all a joke.
I thought it was a Halloween prop or a joke or something, that they were all partying and somebody threw it in the fire as a joke, you know, to burn it up.
Again, just a gruesome discovery for that man. He says he was questioned by police for most of the day. They were asking him why he was here, why he decided to stop at that pit, but eventually they told him that he could go. Now, police say they are not releasing any more information about the remains found to protect the integrity of their investigation. We will bring you more information once they do release it. Reporting live from Fiesta Island, Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
It looked like a movie scene from the worst horror movie you've seen.
That is a witness describing the scene of a small plane that crashed and caught fire, killing 2 people.
That plane took off from Las Vegas this morning and was headed for Gillespie Field. Our ABC 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala is joining us with the latest on the investigation tonight. Mimi.
Yeah, Steve, Lindsay, that plane was supposed to end up here at Gillespie Field from Las Vegas, but we're told it was only in the air for about 9 minutes before it crashed. And sadly, the FAA did confirm that the 2 people on board did not survive. We do have some video to show you from our sister station in Las Vegas. The Clark County Fire Department, along with Las Vegas Metro Police, responded to reports of the 1974 Cessna 310 crashing on Raven Avenue in South Las Vegas just after 9:30 this morning. They say the plane took off from the North Las Vegas airport and was supposed to be headed here again to Gillespie Field. Sadly, the plane crashed in a construction site and immediately burst into flames with the 2 people on board. The flames also spread to a construction trailer on that site. A man who owns the property was inside at the time. He got out without any injuries. He says he heard what sounded like a low-flying helicopter and immediately knew something was wrong. Then he heard the crash and saw the flames and fuel spread over his trailer.
Ran around and saw that it was just totally engulfed in flames. It was a giant fireball. There was nothing I could do personally to assist anyone there.
Now, we did compare the tail number to a plane on the flight tracker, and it appears that plane was registered to someone out of La Jolla, but unclear right now if the owner was on board. We do not know the identities of the 2 victims just yet. Both the FAA and the NTSB are investigating, trying to figure out the cause of this crash. This is a developing story, so of course we're going to continue to learn more information, and we will bring that to you as we do. For now, we're live at Gillespie Field. Mimi Alcala, ABC 10 News.
Mimi, thank you. Your voice, your vote. We are just 5 days out from Election Day, and nearly half of San Diego County's voters, they have cast their ballots. According to the registrar, more than 937,000 ballots have been received. Voters can mail their ballots or drop them off at any one of the 126 locations across the county. The registrar's office is also open for early voting, and polling places will be open from this Saturday through Election Day. The San Diego Police Department says it is preparing for the possibility of big demonstrations on and around Election Day. Our ABC 10 News reporter Jennifer Kastner spoke to police about their plans for any demonstrations.
SDPD has 9 divisions throughout the city. The department says it's up to each division's captain to determine the appropriate staffing levels for the election. Fears of an uncertain future leading to fears of potential unrest. ABC 10 News spoke to San Diego Police's Lieutenant Sean Takeuchi about preparations for fallout from the election.
We don't have any credible information to say that there's going to be civil unrest or large protest groups out on election day or soon thereafter election day. However, we have been in contact with other cities throughout the United States. We've been in contact with our federal partners in the United States, and we're preparing for possible unrest to occur on election day and afterwards.
He won't reveal the department's staffing levels, but said they will be ready to handle the calls. Officers are mindful of concerns surrounding the ballots and the pandemic.
As humans, when you don't know your future, when there's uncertainty in the future, I think it brings out a little bit of anxiety. And so we are, I think, aware of that and the emotions.
Part of our work at Protect the Results is to encourage every American to be patient and realize that it could take days, if not longer, before we know the full count of this election.
Sean Eldridge is with Protect the Results, which he said is focused in part on preparing several upcoming rallies in San Diego and beyond.
We have nearly 400 pre-planned events across the country, which could happen as early as the afternoon of Wednesday, November 4th, the day after the election, if Trump were to try to undermine the election results.
He said all participants are being encouraged to sound off safely and peacefully.
So we are focused on nonviolent mobilizations and rallies if needed.
SDPD is asking for any groups planning demonstrations to please reach out to them ahead of time so they can start preparing to ensure their safety and the general public's safety. Jennifer Kastner, ABC 10 News.
Now, we talked about voting in the county, but some 78 million Americans have already voted early as well. President Trump and Joe Biden will spend the next 5 days on the campaign trying to get their voters to the polls in their battleground states. And as ABC's Alex Perche reports, no state is more crucial than Florida.
Joe Biden leads President Trump in most national polls, but the 538 poll average has him separated by just 2 points in Florida. Both candidates courting voters today in this critical battleground. President Trump making his case on the economy. New numbers out today show third quarter GDP grew by more than 33%, a record number after massive losses tied to the pandemic.
They won't even talk about it. This is the biggest event in business in 50 years. Nobody's ever seen a number like this. This is bigger than any nation.
But economists caution without new COVID-19 economic stimulus and aggressive efforts to reduce the spread of the virus, that growth could shrink. President Trump's response to the pandemic, the crux of Joe Biden's closing argument.
I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm not going to shut down the country, but I'm going to shut down the virus.
The senior vote, a critical voting bloc in the country, but especially in Florida. Census records show over 70% of seniors voted in the last election, more than any other age group. The Villages in Florida is home to the largest retirement community in the country. It's a group the president has had support from in the past.
Before the COVID came in, everything was right on target. I feel as though he'll bring us back.
Another crucial demographic, the Latino vote. Polls vary by double digits, with a new Marist NBC poll showing Trump up by 5 points among Florida Latino voters, while the latest Monmouth poll has Biden leading by 26 points among the same group in the Sunshine State. And while Florida will be critical, many once reliably red states are now too close to call. Texas, Arizona, even Georgia. Already more than 79 million Americans have voted early, either in person or by mail, according to the U.S. Elections Project, just 5 days before Election Day.
Another pivotal region is the Midwest. President Trump will be in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota on Friday, while Biden will be in Iowa, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. Alex Perche, ABC News, Washington.
And here is the latest on the coronavirus in San Diego County. 358 new cases were reported today, bringing our total to 55,898. And 4 new deaths were reported, bringing that total to 885. With many amusement parks, playgrounds, and other family activities closed or restricted this year, pumpkin patches seem to be growing in popularity. But are some of these attractions properly operating under the reopening guidelines? We took a look at a few locations to figure out what's allowed and what's not. This is cell phone video taken this week of the pumpkin station on Camino del Rio South in Mission Valley. Lots of people and some not wearing masks, and there are several small rides operating. This is the same location during the day Thursday. ABC 10 News reached out to the owner, who didn't want to talk on camera, but says they have a capacity limit of 250 people, require employees to undergo temperature checks and wear face masks. But he says they can't make customers wear face masks if they don't want to. As for the rides, he says he tried to contact the San Diego County Health Department about what was allowed, but never heard back. He says the rides are sanitized between each use. When ABC 10 News contacted the county, we were referred to these state guidelines for amusement and theme parks, which say all operations must be closed in the red and purple tiers. San Diego is still in the purple. As for other spots, like the Strawberry Fields in Carlsbad, there aren't rides, but there are inflatables. The owner of the company who operates them, Carlsbad Lagoon, didn't want to speak on camera either, but said they've been working with the county since they reopened. There's no specific state guidelines for inflatables, but a county spokesperson says as long as it's not completely enclosed, think slides and obstacle courses, it's allowed.
I love pumpkin.
As for sanitation, Carlsbad Lagoon says they sanitize frequently and restrict admission to adhere to social distancing guidelines. Now, the pumpkin station says they're only open for 2 more days. The county did say they would refer the situation to enforcement. 8 San Diego County gyms are fighting back against public health orders related to COVID-19. The gyms filed a lawsuit today saying the orders have caused catastrophic damage to their businesses. Metroflex Gym in Oceanside and the Ramona Fitness Center are among those suing. Both gyms came under fire earlier this year for keeping their doors open against the county's coronavirus restrictions. Governor Gavin Newsom, all 5 county supervisors, and other local officials are named in that lawsuit.
Parents in favor of a plan to reopen schools for in-person learning gathered outside Mira Mesa High School today to voice their opinions. As our ABC 10 News reporter Vanessa Paz explains, they want the San Diego Unified School District to get their kids back to class sooner than later.
Despite cold temps early hours, parents rallied along this popular stretch off Mira Mesa Boulevard with a message that it's almost been a year and every day that passes is time that their kid could have spent back in the classrooms. San Diego Unified has kept doors to their campuses shut since March, but recently announced plans to initiate phase 2 of a return plan in January. Parents at today's rally, though, said that's not soon enough.
Kids are depressed. So we're trying to get them together safely outside with masks and everything, but the kids need socialization. They need to be with their friends. That is half of what they get out of school.
Councilman Chris Cate joined parents to support.
I think every day that passes is critical.
Chiming in about how San Diego's climate could easily play a key part in welcoming kids back to class.
Outdoor learning. Why are we not taking advantage of the climate that we have here in San Diego? Yes, they're innovative. Yes, they may be costly and they may be some barriers there, but what ideas are we putting forward when we know for a fact and we have the data that says that distance learning is not working?
Even though we've seen this trend of rallies make a difference for districts like Poway, Carlsbad, Del Mar, and Vista, it came with a cost. A week after Vista welcomed students back into classrooms, 5 COVID cases arose in the district, resulting in a lack of teachers to fill in and a quick move by the board to set new rules, even making parents rethink their decision.
I think they just need to reevaluate their plan, and I probably wouldn't bring them back until after summer next year. But I know they've been having problems getting substitute teachers here. So that right there, if you're having problems getting substitute t-shirts, that says a lot.
Yet parents like Edward Ewing think districts have had more than enough time to think things through.
The psychological effects on children are going to be felt for generations. It seems like they're not putting the children first.
Carlsbad is the latest district to vote yes on reopening some of their high schools back to students on November 30th. But of course, some parents think that it's a risk because that date falls right after the holidays. In Mira Mesa, Vanessa Paz, ABC 10 News.
Escondido Union School District is reopening two new positive cases of COVID-19 at one of its middle schools. It says the cases are unrelated and involve 2 individuals at Mission Middle School. It is unclear if those 2 cases are students, teachers, or staff members. All of those who came into contact with those positive cases are now at home in a 14-day quarantine. Nearly a quarter of all hospitals across the country are reporting ICU beds more than 80% filled. The U.S. is now averaging more than 74,000 COVID-19 cases a day. That's a record high. 29 states are seeing a daily increase in deaths as well. Experts are pointing to Europe as an example of what could be next for the U.S. As cases are surging there, France and Germany are now imposing lockdowns to help ease strain on their hospital systems.
So we're not ready for this wave that's coming in front of us, and people are tired. We do not want to have to look into a lockdown, but that's where we're heading if we don't act urgently.
A new CDC study showed just one infected 9th grader at an overnight retreat in Wisconsin this summer likely led to 116 other confirmed cases of COVID-19. Wisconsin, one of the nation's hotspots, is seeing its highest ever total of COVID-19 patients.